Chair Kelly, you can call the meeting to order as soon as you're ready, and then Velma will proceed after you with roll call.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to those online. I believe we're going to have perhaps as many as 7 online this morning. And those of us, I believe there's 8 of us here. And anyway, we're glad that everybody is able to participate. It is still in the dog days of summer, I guess. And boy, the dog's hanging on big time this summer. So it's sometimes hard to keep everybody focused on things when it'd be easier to be out at the beach somewhere cooling off. So I appreciate everybody's participation today. All right. Okay, Velma, I guess if you'll go ahead and do the roll call for us, please.
Yes, sir. Richard Farias, Lawson Picasso, Diana Martinez, Frank Gonzalez, Raquel Zapata, Cliff Soloway, Adelita Cantu, John Kelly, Tom Corser, Vanessa Alvarado. Here. Bill Day, Steve Bonnet, Audra Clapsato, Bob Zapata, and Aaron Stein.
Thank you, Velma. All right, now we will have Nancy Tabatas lead us in the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance today.
Thank you. If everybody can please bow your heads. We thank you for the many blessings you have freely given to each of us. We ask for your presence to guide this meeting of the CPS Energy's Citizens Advisory Committee. Provide them with the knowledge, compassion, and wise counsel needed as they discuss the business matters on the agenda today. Help us all to remember that we are stewards acting on behalf of our customers and provide us with the grace to serve all people well. We ask this in your name, amen. Now for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nancy. All right, Chair Kelly, we are now ready for you to seek approval of the meeting minutes from the July meeting.
All righty. Has everyone hopefully had a chance to scan over the minutes from the last meeting? Do we have any corrections or concerns about the minutes as written? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting. All right, Diana and Bob. Okay, great. All in favor? Aye. All righty. Didn't hear any opposed, so we'll go forward. All right, thank you. All right. Today we're going to hear first a little update on what's happening with the enterprise project planning for TxDOT. Man, that's a boo-boo, isn't it, for CPS? Trying to get moving forward with all their technologies. So at this point, I'll turn it over to Vidya and ask her to get us an update. Thank you.
Chair Kelly, before I turn over the podium to Vidya, I just wanted to let the committee know that the briefing that you're going to see today that Vidya is going to walk you through was given to the Board of Trustees last week on July the 31st. This briefing will give you an overview of a very important strategic initiative that CPS Energy is undertaking. We are in the beginning stages of it, and it is something that's we are be working through for several years right now. This particular initiative is going to be a subject of discussion, for several reasons, going forward, with the Board of Trustees as we make our journey through this transition. It is also, as CPS Energy contemplates, moving forward, with a request for a rate increase, the topic of the evolution of the organization's technology will be front and center. So I thought that this would be a very timely and relevant briefing for y'all to have. Without further ado, I want to turn the presentation over to my longtime friend and a very, seasoned professional who has covered all aspects of EIT over the years in her career here at CPS Energy, Ms. Vidya Rangachar.
Thank you, Vaughn. Good morning, committee members. Good morning, Chair. I had the pleasure of meeting a couple of you, and some of you have met before too. So let me see, I've not used this before, so there. So like Yvonne said, I will be talking to you today about our transformation efforts. These are our overarching technology strategy efforts. This will, I'll talk to you a little bit about what progress we've made so far, what do we look like today, and what are the benefits, what are the outcomes that we are expecting to get from this. This is a technology transformation, but it's also mainly driven by the business needs and the customer needs. So that's kind of where I want to just shed some light and share some information with you. Oops, sorry. Okay. These are headlines that we've all seen in recent past, really. This is mainly highlighting some of the challenges that FAA and the Southwest Airlines had. And this is showing what the risk of legacy systems can cause us, right? So what we are trying to kind of convey here is these risks are real. Other companies go through this risk, and we have to proactively address how we are going to mitigate them. And these risks can lead to operational challenges, and there are so many opportunities for efficiencies, and that is what our digital transformation is striving to address. So very high level, what are the initiatives that what are the outcomes that we are driving towards, right? You've seen our Vision 2027, and these are kind of anchored to those. So I'm going to highlight a couple of them. Experiences, for example. So what we are expecting out of this transformation effort is enhancing the experience for both our employees and our customers. So what the customers can see, how easy it is for them to interact with us, or how easy is it for our employees to serve our customers? How efficient can they be when they talk to our customers, and then we are serving them the best way that we can? The other one I want to highlight is agility. We all know that the customer needs, their expectations are changing. They see companies like Amazon, and they think their utility should respond to them the same way. So how do we respond to them when their needs are changing so much? How do we respond to the changing industry needs, right? New technology coming onto our grid, we should be in the best way to support it safely and securely. And these are some of the outcomes that we want to achieve, and we want to achieve using good technology, good processes, good data, and good governance around all of it. So you may ask, what's ERP? So ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. Really, bottom line, it's our foundational technology landscape, right? So this is what we use to run our business. These are just some numbers just to kind of give an idea of how expansive this technology landscape is, what we do with it. We serve our customers. Our customer billing system is in this landscape. Our enterprise asset management is here, and we also kind of manage our supply chain and financial processes. And so does the employee processes, right? The hire to retire process. All of that is managed through this. So this is just to give you an idea what ERP does for us today. And how do we do it? How do we manage this today? And really the short answer is very carefully, because this is a very complex infrastructure that we have today. So I'll walk you through starting from the inside out, right? The inside circle, the insidemost circle has SAP in it. That is our ERP, that's our core ERP system today. So we use SAP for, like I said, billing and asset management. There are the next circle outside is they kind of cover some of the business systems, right? Those functionalities, maybe it is work management, how we manage our crews, how we manage our scheduling. Those, in other ways, they should be part of the ERP, but for a variety of reasons, we ended up having several systems that are around SAP, and we use this whole landscape today to run our business. The outermost circle is our operational systems. Those are our SCADA systems, and that just means all the equipment that we use to run our grid. Our GIS system, our mapping, geographical information software, our mapping systems, and our metering systems. Those are on the outside circle. So what we are trying to achieve or target with this transformation is the inside two circles, right? The SAP and the business systems. The operational systems, they are going to stay where they are. We are using them very effectively, and we are not, that's not the purpose of this particular transformation. And just as a kind of interesting tidbit, we selected SAP as our ERP in 1998. We first implemented it in 2001. So if it were a person, it would be old enough to drink. That's kind of like the running joke, right? That's so enough said about that. So we talked about some of the outcomes we want to achieve. What does this look like in real life? We talked about improved experiences for our customers. So if they want different options in how they receive their bill or how they make their payment, how they talk to anybody from CPS. So this is to improve those experiences. So with good data and good processes, good technology on the back end, we are able to offer better experiences for the customer, right? And we are not going to be able to do that if our employees do not have efficient processes and tools and enough data insights for them to be able to do that. So if a customer calls, the person on the phone on the CPS Energy side should be able to have a good view of the customer, right? Why they're calling, maybe even able to predict what their questions might be. All those are possible only if we have good integration, good data that's supporting the energy advisor that's answering that call today. So this is intended to achieve such real life outcomes for both employees and customers. And I want to highlight one item here, which is the bottom left. This is related to our community commitments. How are we meeting our community expectations about how our rate structure is or how our bill is designed? How easy is it for them to find anything on the bill? How easy is it for them to understand the bill? So these are some of the outcomes that in real life, right? In real life scenarios, what that means. So now I want to invite two of our team members, Kirby and Danny. Kirby is actually in the room today. He is leading our ERP program. He's the main lead for it. And Danny is one of the foremen in the underground operations. So they'll walk you through what they think this means for them.
I'm Kirby Fogel, and I'm excited to tell you about our enterprise resource planning transformation and how it will improve the systems we use to run our business, streamline the way we work, and empower CPS Energy employees to unlock their full potential.
And I'm Danny Cruz. I'm here to make sure we're all on the same page and everything is clear. What Kirby is saying is super important, so let's all listen up.
So first, a little background. What are ERP or enterprise resource planning systems? These systems allow us to conduct critical job functions from administrative to accounting to human resources and beyond. These job functions are built around a central group of business applications.
This means this program lets us do everything we do each day. So it's important to everyone, whether or not you're familiar with ERP.
Today, we have over 50 applications that were added over the years to keep up with emerging technology. The challenge we face is that many of these applications are not made to work together, which causes frustration for those trying to complete common tasks.
Like the tablets we use. Sometimes we can't pull up an address because it's not in the system. It'd be great to get these types of issues fixed so we can take better care of our customers.
Exactly, Danny. Several of our applications are becoming obsolete, so it's critical that we find new solutions that will allow us to minimize the number of applications we use, streamline our business processes, and empower employees to focus on serving our customers.
These solutions will help us be more accurate and transparent with our customers so we can tell them what's happening and when their power will be restored.
That's what we want. We'll partner with trusted vendors to help us identify the right ERP solution. We already work with one partner to identify and assess the pain points that exist today and some of the needs of our business in the future. We'll also go through a process to select the right partners to help us implement and operationalize our solutions.
I've seen a lot of changes in my 28 years of CPS Energy, and I'm excited we're working with experts to make smart choices that'll take us into the future with confidence.
Many CPS Energy employees have already been included in this process, and will continue to engage experts from every area of the business along this journey.
Maximum effort. We're all in this together as one team.
It's an exciting time at CPS Energy, during which we'll improve the employee experience and empower us all to serve our customers in new and exciting ways.
I always like that video. I think Danny brings out, I mean, he really is so excited. It kind of comes through. So let's wait for. Okay. So like Kirby and Danny talked about, we've been planning on this. We started a few years ago with our planning and assessment efforts, kind of got input from a variety of people all around the company, had some workshops that assessed what the pain points are, right? So these three phases that you see is kind of what we did a few years ago, where we are now, and what our future plans are. So where we are now is in the walk phase. So we have gathered all the information and the requirements from the assessments and the planning efforts. We are in the process of picking our technology vendor, right? So we've issued an RFP out early this year. We're evaluating the responses. This month, actually, that we are having demonstrations by these vendors that come and show, they responded to the RFP, but they come and show how they will do what we are asking them to do. How does it work in their system, right? And by the end of this year, we are hoping to get that technology vendor selection to the board for their approval. So we have a lot of work ahead of us. We have our implementation partner, the company that will come and help us implement this the way we want it to. We're kind of hoping to select them sometime mid next year. And for the, like Yvonne said, was it too far? Okay.
When you have a moment, Tom Corser has a question. So I didn't want to interrupt you. Go ahead, Vidya.
Okay, let me just finish this part. So like Yvonne said, this is going to take us a few years to accomplish, to get to the end, right? So just wanted to kind of set that stage for you all. Tom, you had a question?
Yes, I did. Thank you very much. The great presentation. Given you've already completed the current baselining of your business processes and establishing the transition plan, I think, fundamentally implementing a ERP system like this, it takes the re-engineering of processes and data, right? And understanding the situation. Implementing a new ERP system with bad processes and with bad data does you no good, as you very well know. So give us a sense of where we are with respect to processes and data at CPS.
That's a great question. It's almost like I planted that, Tom. Thank you for that. So you're absolutely right. Implementing a shiny new technology with bad processes and bad data is not doing, it actually causes a worse impact, right? So what we are doing right now is we are going through a business process, current process documentation and optimization phase, right? That's what we are going through right now. We are starting with each business areas. We are almost done with the customer area, I think, with all of their, I don't know, 100 some processes, documenting them, kind of marking out where the optimization efforts are. So our intent when we bring these new technologies in is to be as standard and as best practice as possible. We will have some unique processes that CPS has, so we will have to kind of meet our needs, but for the most part, that's our idea. So that's one of the initiatives that's already in progress. The other major thing that we started off a couple of months ago is the data governance strategy and cleansing efforts. So that is, we are establishing a data governance council that has members from all across the company in it to help us create this governance framework and structure. And in the same way, we are also identifying what the critical data elements are and what data quality means to us. So both of these efforts are in progress. We are expecting them to be done by the time we start our first implementation work late next year. Did that answer your question, Tom?
Yeah, I was more looking for, kind of a scale of where we are in terms of our readiness for a new digital platform like this. But I understand that's probably more of a dialogue than it is an answer. So that's fine. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Were there any other questions, Julia? So I just want to end with a few thoughts for all of you, right? You're spending, you're part of this committee. It's a very valuable committee. So what do we want our customers to know out of this? This is one of the largest technology investments that CPS is making. So we want the customers to know that we are making these investments in our digital infrastructure to ensure that their experiences are met, their expectations are met. We want to improve the interaction that they have with CPS. We want it to be easy, the customer effort that is on that side for just getting information or paying a bill or understanding a bill. We want that to be easier, right? That's our main emphasis. So we want you as the CAC and the customers to know that these investments are made with that outcome in mind. Secondly, we are going to be having a lot of opportunities with the board meetings, with some community open houses to share a lot of this information. So we want the customers to be engaged and they will get a lot of the information that way, but we want them to know what we are doing. So we want them to be engaged all through the process. And how can you all help? Please ask questions like Tom did. Give us your feedback, give us your input. Like I said, our goal is to ensure that the customers understand why this is important, why we have to do it, and why we have to do it now, right? Those are the things that we want everybody to understand and everybody to just have a good sense of where this is going so that we have the support we need. But if there is input, there is feedback, there are questions, please ask us and give us your input. So that's all I had for today. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I would just say that it's a great presentation video. I think that I would have a couple of questions. Maybe I missed it. It could have been that you already said this, but what size is the investment that it's going to be required to pull all this off?
So the size of the investment, it was not on any slides. You didn't miss anything.
Okay.
We are working through refining some of the estimates. The last time we had, when we presented to the board, at that time, we had estimated this to be anywhere between 250 to 300 million over 5 years. Right, that was our estimate. We are in the process of refining those at this time and working with our budgeting team and of course, our board.
Well, yes, and thank you. The reason I was asking is, that's the sort of question we may get in regard to the rate increase request. People may want to know, what are the various components that justify the rate increase? And that's a pretty sizable investment. I'm not surprised. Everything's always more expensive these days, but I think that that's important. I had back to the circles that you were talking about, if we could go back to that slide. Yeah, there we go. I was a little bit, I guess, curious about why you said you're only addressing technology within the first two elements of the circles there. And you felt like that the outer interfaces, more or less with the public and so forth, were already in good shape. Could you clarify that a little bit? That seems kind of maybe a little bit counterintuitive to me. I'm certainly not a high-tech person, but it just seemed like if you're going to do the core upgrades, you would need to update everything.
So just to clarify that, right? This particular effort is kind of addressing the two circles, SAP and the business systems circles. The operational systems, that is not being addressed by this, but that doesn't mean we're not doing anything with those. So there is, for the SCADA systems, there is a transformation effort already in play for that. And the metering systems, we always are upgrading the firmware, and that's on a constant cycle, right? So that's happening. We are doing a lot of efforts still in the research phase on how to best use the data that we get from the meters, but those are not part of this effort. I didn't mean to imply that nothing was happening there. I'm sorry about that, but those are not part of this effort.
Okay, well, that makes more sense. I think that explains or answers my question. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Bob?
Yes, thank you, Vidya. Yeah, I admire your efforts because this is a big task. I mean, I've worked for a company that we've had to do that in the past too. In one of the slides, you said you had a business case. I guess, based on my experience, that business case is going to change over time, as you probably already know, and the costs are going to go up, as you already know, because you're going to find out your systems are going to sunset before you're ready to implement, right? So you're going to have to modify that. But one of the things I did want to know is, what is the business case? You try to de-risk, you presented a de-risk of what you're trying to do. Is that more on the lines of the systems itself, meaning like the HR and maintenance programs, or is it more like de-risking what knowledge you have with respect to your equipment?
It's almost like you've done this before.
Yeah, I've been involved. Yeah, yeah.
So
unfortunately.
So the business case really covers, if I had to say, 3 categories, right? One is the de-risking, because we do have a lot of legacy systems, and maintaining those and keeping them up in good support and secure gets more and more difficult as we go. The second one is optimizing our spend with technology, because we did a lot of these red lines kind of on this slide. They talk about, they refer to integrations between the systems, right? They refer to data going back and forth. That comes up to a very complex and complicated landscape that we have. So when we optimize this, When we optimize this and when we do this transformation the right way, we are expecting some of that complexity to go away. So it automatically means it's easier to maintain, that it should be cheaper also, right? That's the second. And the third, which is really the biggest one, is all the benefits for both the employees and customers, right? Just efficiencies with our operational processes, our systems, leaves our employees to do so much more value add work for our customers. That to me is the biggest benefit. So the business case kind of covers those three categories.
Makes sense. Yeah. And I just wanted to add, I know you're very early in the program. I just wanted to add a little bit of what our experience was, is we took a huge number of costs out with predictive maintenance. We were using, the big theme now is AI, artificial intelligence, but 10 years ago, we were using that to predict failures of compressors, pumps, et cetera, before they failed. So we were able to replace. I know the military's done that too. You probably have too, right? You've probably seen that. So that's just something to consider going forward. You may want to look at that at some point in time. So
Definitely. Yeah. That's good feedback. Thank you.
Video, we have a few questions online. We have Dr. Cantu, followed by Tom Corser, and then Aaron Stein.
Okay.
Dr.
Dr.
Cantu?
Cantu?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for the presentation. Really nice information and a lot of information there that we just need some time to reflect on. I'm wondering if with the evolving technology that we have and that CPS will have, and looking at all the things that this evolving technology can help not only CPS with, but the customers as well. Is there any integration or anything in the technology that would give information to the customer about issues around climate change or carbon footprints, other things that we know are consequences of climate change, and this might be helped to mitigate some of those by being more informative of people, to our customers about impacts. So I don't know if I worded that correctly, and I don't know if it's clear in my mind, but I'm just wondering if this technology can provide some information about that. And, and I think it's at everybody's mind right now because of this intense heat wave we're having, and it's going to be going on for at least another couple of weeks that we know of, and maybe beyond. So I'm hoping that was a bit clear.
So that's a really good point. And I think most of the outcomes or experiences that we are looking at is how does a customer benefit from it, right? That definitely includes a better and enhanced communication. And that communication can take a lot of different forms, to your point. That can be educational, or that can be just situational awareness on what's happening and why. So yes, ma'am. So those are part of the things that we are considering during this.
Just a follow up to that, I know that I think I, like a lot of people, get those emails from CPS about where I'm falling with 100 of my closest neighbors in terms of conservation. But there's a lot of different nuances with looking at 100 neighbors. I know I have some neighbors that have solar roofs, solar panels on the roofs, I should say. And so, that information, although it's good, I'm not sure if it really is a measurement of the conservation I'm doing on an individual basis. But if we blow that out to the whole community, I'm not sure if it's giving them the information they need to continue the conservation. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tom?
Thank you. Dr. Cantu, fantastic question. Mine is not much different than that. But first, I think there's a clarification on the question John asked, and that is with respect to the cost. And could you help clarify whether that was in the most recent rate case that we've implemented? Was the cost of the ERP system was included in that? I believe that was true. Is that true?
Part of it was. It It included the first 2 years of it, right? It included the planning and the assessment of it.
Got it. Got it. Okay, good, good. So John, that should inform a little bit more context around your question. But my question was very similar to Dr. Cantu's in that, to your last slide is you want us to keep customers informed about and feedback to you the benefits of this ERP system implementation. So one of the things I'd like to ask you to produce is for both residential and business customers, what are the benefits that they're going to see? Similar to what you discussed, Dr. Cantu's answer is what additional information, what insights can they get? What response times could be improved? What efficiencies we can draw out of managing the network? What different things like that? What efficiency of partnerships that we'd have because we can interface with other suppliers and maybe customers. Understanding those at a high level of bullet points to say, hey, here are the benefits. Here's why we're investing this. To Bob's point about the business case, give us those high level bullets that we can rattle off to customers, both residential and business. I think that'd be useful.
That is a very fair ask. Thank you for that. And we are working on a version of that, so you'll see that. Thank you.
Perfect.
So Aaron Stein had a question that he typed into the chat, and that is there an expected return on investment, potentially from enhanced efficiencies or removal of outdated systems? If so, can you estimate what level of savings might be achieved?
Short answer is yes, but we're not in a position to share that at this time. We are working through some of the outcomes and the metrics that we want to have for this program, right? We will have an independent oversight entity that will come let us know how we are doing it, whether the program was successful or not. So we will be sharing that in due course. We do not have those numbers to share as of now.
Anna?
This is kind of a silly question, but I imagine the vendor pool from who you're going to be pulling the software from is very small in the nation. Is that correct?
That would be accurate. Any other questions?
Anybody else have any final questions for a video? I'd just make a personal comment. Right now, CPS is replacing the conduit in our neighborhood between where Dr. Romero's house is and my house. So we appreciate the fact that they're keeping us alerted as to when the power is going to be off. So anything that, could help make that more efficient, that communication easier for y'all, the people out in the field, something that would help them update that information, because they'll say, like they told us the power was going to be off from 10 to 11. Well, it turned out they needed to shift the time a little bit, and which is not unexpected, but some kind of improvement in communications would be certainly beneficial for the customers.
Absolutely.
But they're doing a great job. So
thank you. You heard Danny say that, what some of the challenges he faces. So those are our work management, scheduling, communication. Those are some of the key things we're working through. Thank you, everybody.
Well, thank you, Vidya. And as always, we welcome your presentations and your information. And also like to say thank you to you and Kirby for a great video. I enjoyed seeing. Well, I think it was a fantastic video, and I really think that it helps drive the point home about how there is no point. There's no point of this organization that will be untouched by this journey. So thank you very much. All right, we are doing good on time, Chair Kelly. We, have roundtable, and then we will move to executive session. But prior to the roundtable, I just want to mention a couple of things. On the bottom of your agenda, we have mentioned to you that the next Board of Trustees regular meeting is on August the 28th. and that your next meeting is September the 13th. I would also like to mention that, last month you had a wonderful briefing from Laura Jacobs on, the various customer programs that we have, the customer outreach that we do, and how we're supporting our customers. And Laura's team, on a regular basis, they pull together large community fairs where they, by council district, and they bring in, and they also do them outside of city council districts as well, so really throughout the service territory. And what they do is they partner with those various, any grouping, if you will, or sampling of those hundreds of partner agencies that they showed you in their presentation. They pull together with those groups and they provide one-stop shop, comprehensive support to customers. They are doing that this evening in District 1 from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at St. Mary Magdalene Church. And again, they have several planned out throughout the year. Again, they do this on a regular basis. And those are great opportunities for our customers, they can attend any one. They don't have to stay with the one in their district. They can attend any one. And that enables them to connect not only themselves, but their relatives or neighbors, to any customer support that they'll need. So I just wanted to mention that. And we do have those engagements posted on our website. Lastly, before we move into roundtable, I wanted to highlight this financial fact card. And for those of you that are online, Velma will send you a link to the digital version of this fact card. This is a very helpful piece of information that we publish every summer. We need to wait for the fiscal year to close, all records finalized, and then all of that financial data is published in this fact card. This handy trifold is something that I definitely encourage you, especially the newer CAC members, to take a look at. Provides our financial data. It provides revenues. It lets you know, about our electric system, our gas system, how many miles we have in overhead, underground, how many miles of transmission lines, the number of customers that we have, and also, how our rates compare to, other, utility providers across the United States. And you can see that with this financial fact card, we are listed at the top of the list. So again, this is, and also it gives the leadership team and our board members in the back. So again, this is a great thing to keep with you. It's a great thing to have some handy facts about our organization. And we'll send the link out to everyone so that all of you can have access to it. If you want to print additional copies or save a copy on your phone or device, you're welcome to do that. It's very helpful. Yes, absolutely. So like I say, we'll get the link out and you can share it as you like. It'll also be posted on our webpage.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Sorry. Thanks, John.
No.
Is this available or do you all produce it in Spanish as well?
That is a good question. Let me inquire on that one. I can get that answer for you here in just a minute.
And do y'all include, I'm paperless, but is this included as a stuffer or is it for people who get print statements, or it's not?
I don't think they're
mailed
putting
out?
that in the bill,
Okay.
but it is, we do have a link to it online. But like I say, when I step aside here, as you guys move to community roundtable, I'll inquire on both of those just to confirm.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I think it's a great little handy thing to have. And as we move into the fall and discussion warms up about the rate increase request, I think it's going to be very useful to have this. I like the comparison on the back of our rates compared to the other cities around the country. And in Texas, I think that's useful.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was wondering is, I don't have an example right now, but I was thinking if any of us had a meeting that we might be attending, is there a way to get like a stack of these or something that we could
Yes, we could get some printed for you. Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Just give me a little bit of notice, but I can get some
sure.
printed for you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So I will get those answers for you while you all are in committee roundtable. Chair Kelly, turning it over to you.
Okay. All right. One of the things, just to start the discussion off, I was thinking about is that I think Laura, who did come and give us an update on what's happening with this group that reaches out to particularly the more vulnerable residents in our community. And I'm so thankful that we have a municipally owned utility that cares about their customers, because boy, I'd hate to be in Dallas or Houston. I don't see them, getting in a big hurry to care about it. And you've got all these competing electric companies and providers up there and their issues to try to do the least for, try to get maximize profit and so forth. So anyway, I think we're very fortunate to have a municipally owned utility. I felt like when they made the presentation last month that maybe we shorted them a little bit on time. They seemed like they had some more things they could share with us and tell us. So my thought was maybe we invite them to come back. I don't know, maybe October, some time frame like that. Maybe give them a month or two, and then ask them to come back. But I'm open to any comments or thoughts from any of the rest of the committee.
John, this is Tom. I second your notion that it'd be good to hear from them. I think more frequently than less. In fact, one modification of your suggestion would be to kind of schedule them quarterly to give us an update.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'd be fine too, Tom. The only hesitation I have, I guess, that they're such a small group. I don't want to impact their time and availability, but
that's a great point. That's a great point. So maybe every 6 months then, or some cadence like that.
Right.
Where basically we are kind of current. We as a group are current with respect to their issues.
Right. And can tout to people that we come in contact with all the nice things that CPS does for their less or more vulnerable customers, and the benefits of having a municipally owned utility. I think, the more we hear from them, the better we're able to convey that information. Any other thoughts? I had always, I guess I'll admit to reverting back to having an interest in technical topics that come up. I had mentioned a few ideas to Yvonne in the last few weeks. I always look at the paper or stories I see online, and it triggers, my thought that we ought to get a presentation on that from Benny Etheridge or his staff. So anyway, I always think about the nuclear plant issue. I saw a really interesting presentation or story online about the natrium salt cooled nuclear plant that they're building. Oh golly, up in is it North Dakota? I can't remember, somewhere up in the very northern part of the country, and like Bill Gates is actually funding a lot of it. And anyway, interesting story, I think. On the other flip side of nuclear power, there was a story recently about the cost overruns for the only new nuclear power plant built in the last 25 years or 30 years. I believe it was over was it in North Carolina, somewhere in the eastern part of the country. And so all sides of the story are interesting, but I think it's good for us to be kept up to speed on these things. Yvonne, it seems like there was one or two other things I forgot to bring my list with me, but I think I had a couple other ideas for future presentations. But at this point, I'd open it up to discussion, other ideas, thoughts that anybody on the committee has for presentations you'd like.
Kelly, you had mentioned community solar. And then you had also mentioned about batteries and battery farms.
That's
and, whether or not, what would the impact be for utility scalability?
Right. Yeah, that's right. I had seen a story about some new solid state battery technology that's on the horizon that might be helpful. So thank you. Yes, thank you, Yvonne.
And Bob Zapata also has some questions about energy market pricing. So
Right.
We're going to bring that to you as well.
Okay. Andrew, I think you had a comment.
Yeah, I did. So one of the things, just actually looking at an earlier slide, she showed the outside ring, the metering, the SCADA systems would be interesting because those are the points that really touch our customers, right?
Right.
So learning a little bit more about those, I always, wonder how our metering system works. Haven't done a lot of that in the Air Force, and knowing how complicated those systems can be, and as well as the SCADA would be, I think, enlightening to learn a little bit more about those programs.
Okay, so that's a topic you'd want to suggest then for the future, is that? Okay,
Yes.
I'll learn a little bit more about that. Okay, that sounds good. Any other thoughts or suggestions?
Dr. Cantu has her hand raised.
Okay. Dr. Cantu?
Yes, thank you. I was just thinking of some of the things that I've been hearing from my neighborhood, people, customers, and I think people are, and I include myself in there, memories of what happened in 2021, and so that post-traumatic stress anxiety about whether there's going to be enough power in the grid, particularly for this intense heat wave, and more people buying generators. And I'm wondering if, and CPS may already have something on their website, if there are some things that CPS can do for their customers in terms of understanding that people have gotten generators because of what happened in 2021 and wanting to be prepared and resilient. But also there is an importance in understanding how to use that safely. And would this be in CPS's bailiwick to provide some of those tutorials or some of the thoughts on their website to reach customers to do this safely if they're ever needed to do it? So that just something just for us to think about and consider, because I do hear people have gotten one.
Yeah. Yes, I think that's a topic we should think about. Any other, Bob? I thought I saw you thinking about it.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. No, I like the idea about the nuclears, and just FYI, the Department of Energy has like 6 different projects going on right now. Not only the small modular reactors, but like the salt cooled and salt heated fast reactors. That might be interesting. Maybe Benny could just talk about why one technology over the other in some future point in time. But the one thing that, in related to the power consumption and how we are using power, it's pretty interesting if you look at what is online, how much we're consuming as a state, and what ERCOT presents as what's available. There's really not much margin there. It's a very, very small margin, like 5% maybe. So I don't know, is there any way of knowing or how we can say how to conserve better? Is there anything that we can take away from CPS? What can we tell our customers and how to conserve? I don't know. What's the highest thing we should conserve on? I know they tell us on the news from 3 to 7 p.m., I think. But what should we do? I mean, what should we tell the people that we interface with, and what is the best thing to do to conserve power other than just turn off a light? Right.
We have tips on energy conservation that can be shared with you in, but basically, yeah, during that time frame, 2 to 8 p.m., we are asking folks to refrain from using, large appliances, as much as possible, the washer, the dryer, what was that?
The Tesla?
The Tesla, yes, exactly. And where possible, maybe, the stove if possible, or the oven rather, not the stove, the oven rather during that time frame, but mainly it's those large appliances, and of course, charging electric vehicles, not during that peak time, but we can share some tips, energy conservation tips with you. Absolutely. Thank you. We also have, for Richard Fariascos, we do have Aaron Stein online with a question, then we'll go to Richard.
Yes, thank you. I'm just curious what CPS Energy is doing to help with the anticipated rollout of additional electric vehicles. One, just preparing for the extra load, but also thinking about things like bidirectional charging, so you could have a potential source of batteries distributed throughout a community for times when you actually need the energy. Thank you.
Just so happens that we have an expert in the room. I'm going to stand up and hand the microphone over to Andrew Higgins. Drew Higgins, you can meet me at the podium and you can answer the question from Mr. Aaron Stein.
Drew will be happy to hear your response on that. In fact, Aaron stole my next questions.
Well, I'm excited to have the opportunity to answer this question. I'm very passionate about electric vehicles, and I think as an opportunity for us to basically empower our community, take a step forward in terms of technology, but also the benefits of electric vehicles are kind of overpronounced for a community. For example, for every $1 of gas you would spend on internal combustion engine, you get about 2 cents that actually stays in the local community. But for every $1 of electricity you buy to charge your car, about 76 cents stays in the local community. Now, part of that, pays for my salary, pays for distribution workers, but there's a 14-cent city payment that goes directly to the city that helps make sure that like our taxes stay low and that our first responders are paid for. And so there's an inherent benefit to electrification that I want to make sure we're aware of. Now, in terms of impact, we are looking at our growth, and we utilize EPRI to kind of help us model, and we've chosen to take a mid-level approach in terms of EV growth. We're not anticipating like the highest possible growth. We also know that we're in a city that's getting more has a highly educated workforce, and they want to take advantage of technology. So we're also not choosing the lowest growth rate. So we're expecting by the end of this year to be somewhere around 18,000 electric vehicles in market, which is impressive because we started off, we're well below the national average, and we're getting closer to the national average. Now, in terms of impact to the grid, which is probably what everyone's worried about, the heat, it's I don't want to say it doesn't have any impact because every single load does, but it's actually minimal. So a couple of quick anecdotes. About 86% of all charging is done off peak, right? And so for the most part, people drive their cars during the day and they charge at night. And this is a natural occurring thing because when you get home, you plug in and it charges at night. And most EVs have settings where you can make sure that it charges off peak. Now, in addition, we offer 2 programs here. We have a managed charging program and a off-peak charging program that we incentivize customers to charge off-peak, or we ask them to give us control so that we can essentially mitigate the charging. So if they plug in at any time, they've given us permission to kind of derate their charger to lower the amount of draw it has. These programs are expanding. We have over 320 customers enrolled, and we're looking at expanding those programs into the future. It's going to be kind of a dedicated part of what we do. One of the benefits of EVs is it's a schedulable load. So that means, when we have excess capacity and we want you to charge, we can encourage you to charge at those times. And then when we're strained for capacity, those are the times we can get you not to charge. So there's plenty of benefits, and I haven't talked once about the environmental benefits. I've talked only about basically the economic and technological benefits that they have. But on top of that, every single internal combustion engine that we take off the road takes about 11,000 pounds of CO2 out of our area. And that's not just kind of the broad CO2. These are local emissions, and these have significant impacts on like asthma rates. And so it's very important that we look at this holistically. CPS Energy is dedicated in making sure that our customers have access to technology, that they have access to essentially all of the new technologies that are going to be able to move our city forward. And I mean, in additionally, we know that this can help our overall community. So from, our CEO all the way down, we want to make sure that our customers, once again, have access to the newest and best technology. And part of that is electrification. We're preparing the grid and our distribution system through Richard Medina. They're laying a plan to make sure that our distribution system can manage it. And Benny is making sure that when this future load comes on, we're going to have the capacity to make sure that it's met. So this is part of our plan. My boss, Jonathan Tiarina, and Corey Kaczynski, our CFO, have been looking at this, and they're focused. And so we have a holistic approach on how we're going to impact EVs. And so with that, I will stop. I'll pause and take any questions. I've been talking too long. My apologies. Yes.
Quick question. I think this was part of what Aaron was asking. There is technology where the electric vehicle can feed power back into the grid. Now, I'm a little shaky I'm trying to think if I had an electric car, at what point would I want to do that? I can't really envision that exactly, but the technology is there, at least with some of the newer electric vehicles. Is that something, I guess, that y'all think about? The other thing, I believe you just said that y'all are looking at the potential need to upgrade the neighborhood grids because most of these cars are going to need 240 power to charge, in a reasonable time frame. So anyway, those are kind of my two questions, I guess.
So I'll start with your last question first. In terms of charging, most EVs pull about 7.7 kilowatts, which is less than an electric heater, but it's still a generous amount. Fortunately, in Texas, we have large AC units, which pull sometimes significantly more than that. And so what we found is there's been almost zero need to upgrade household panels. In other areas, they're not that fortunate, right? You look at like some of the Pacific Northwest where they don't have AC units and they have smaller transformers is more of an issue. But we're pretty good here in Texas. So that answers that question. The V2G question is a little bit more complicated, right? It's an unknown technology, and we're still looking at the impacts and ramifications of battery utilization. What I will tell you is, just since I've been here 4 years, battery technology has taken leaps and bounds. And so the overall life cycle of batteries has increased so dramatically in just 4 years that it's likely not going to be an issue whether you plug it up or don't in the future to dispatch to the grid. That being said, we do need to study, test, and pilot, and we will be studying, testing, and piloting different opportunities in terms of stationary storage and mobile storage in the future at the right time. One of the things that we really want to be cautious with is how we spend our customers' resources, which we've been blessed really to have the opportunity to manage. And we don't want to essentially get too early in terms of adoption of new technologies before our customers are ready to take advantage of it. But I will tell you this, when they are ready, we will be ready as well.
Drew, thank you so much for being here. That was absolutely perfect timing. So we have one more question left from Richard Farias. And then Chair Kelly, we will move into executive session. So Richard?
Thank you. I don't want to encourage discussion because I know we're short on time, but I just want to ask as a follow-up to Bob's point about the conservation between 3 and 8 and how that's messaged to residential customers. Not being a business owner, I don't know how that's messaged to business customers. And I work for a large organization that has an office that's freezing. Kind of like this one, I'm sorry, but this could be 2 degrees warmer in here and it wouldn't affect most people. So I just wonder how, mega consumers, data centers and things like that are in a special case because of the amount of power they need and to cool to run, but just office buildings. Mm-hmm. You do have data centers and office buildings, but just in terms of human comfort where people are, I wear a sweater every day at work. And I don't know a lot of people who do. And why do we have to be in that environment when we're in such a high peak?
I know that our key account management group that works with commercial customers, they are very proactive, on a regular basis, communicating with our commercial customers about the need to conserve and trying to incentivize them and encourage them to do that. We also, you may recall from a prior presentation where we had Anna Lozano and her team in here regarding STEP. We have several commercial customers that are signed up for demand response. Like what Drew was saying, the demand response program for EV charging, same thing with these commercial customers. When we need that conservation, because they've signed an agreement with us, we are able to, lower their thermostats for those brief intervals that we need to achieve the conservation goals, and there's incentive for them to do that. So yes, we're out there on social media. KSAT 12 on the weather broadcast, they highlight it. It's on our webpage. We have billboards. And again, we have the active communications through our key account management group, which is especially critical for our larger users. So we definitely get it out there. So I also want to mention before we move on, to executive session, I did get some answers regarding the financial fact card. So I saw, our financial fact card online, but that was on our intranet, not on our CPS webpage. So the correction on that one. The financial fact card is, intended to be an internal publication, and we use the information on that fact card as a source, for various presentations and things like that we do out into the public. There's a lot of presentations. Well, I think all of the presentations that we do externally has opens with a slide that gives all of the big statistics of our organization, whether it be the number of customers that we have, the number of transmission miles, revenues, and a lot of that comes from the fact card. So when we do those presentations, that one slide provides a really great summary of some big key points. And at this time, the financial fact card is only published in English. So I want to mention that. So Chair Kelly, when you are ready, you can take the committee into executive session where there will be no votes taken, no decisions made, just for briefing only on competitive and confidential matters.
All right. Thank you very much, Yvonne. One quick question before we go into executive session. If some of this is not information that you'd like to see widely disseminated out to the public, is there a way to maybe drop this back a little bit, have some of this information that is releasable?
It's that information is not confidential. It's just that it's internal publication only. It's not intended to be, for all 900,000 folks. That would be a pretty large lift, but we can definitely, you can definitely share the information that's in there. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. At this point, as Yvonne said, we'll adjourn into an executive session. We'll ask any folks that are online with us to sign off at this point, and I guess we'll move forward. Yvonne. All right, please stand by.